Hi, my name is Alicia Vorthman, and this is just a little overview of the CAS Incorporated policies and an introduction to medications that's been created by Iowa Western Community College. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a closer look at CAS Incorporated policies. CAS Incorporated may administer medications only by certified medication managers to those persons requiring medications that have a physician's order. Each client or their guardian, if applicable, must sign an authorization for emergency medical treatment. If an individual has a medical power of attorney or a living will, this information must always be in the client's file. Staff training. This is simply going to be an online course. This is not the medication manager course. This is going to be approximately a 2-hour online course to just provide a general overview of medications. Staff may receive medication management course during their orientation. They will complete the course and then provide a copy of this certification to the Human Resources Department prior to administering medications. The medication management course consists of a 10-hour course in the class and also includes a 2-hour clinical review with a registered nurse. Staff will also receive annual training on the use of the physician's desk reference, also referred to as the PDR, especially as it pertains to drug interactions and side effects of specific drugs. PDRs are located at each med station at CAS Incorporated and each house. So let's look at the procedures for day programs. For safety reasons, medication should always be kept under staff supervision in a locked container or a med room. Medications, again, can only be administered by medication managers. No medications are ever to be administered or discontinued or changed in any way without CAS Incorporated having written documentation from the physician. Non-prescription medications, or over-the-counter medications, also referred to as OTC medications, such as analgesics, must also be kept under lock. The medication manager must document the date, time, route, and the medication given to each client. This information is kept on a med sheet located in or near the med station. Outdated information will be retained and filed. Emergency information is maintained in the source document books at each location. Should an emergency occur, this information will be assessed for post-emergency plans. An authorization for treatment should always come from the individual, family, guardian, or medical power of attorney designee. All medication errors will need to be documented on the injury, illness, critical incident form and then submitted to the appropriate staff member as soon as discovered. You can see that form for more details. Let's look at the policy for 24-hour HCBS supervised homes. Again, medication is kept under staff supervision in a designated location at each house. Due to the services being provided in the client's home, the medication does not need to be locked up in a container unless decided by the ISP team. Medication managers are again only distributed by medications are again only distributed by certified medication managers. No medications will ever be administered, discontinued, or changed without CAS Incorporated having the written order or notification from the physician. The medication manager again must document the date, time, route, and the medication given to each client. This information is kept in the client's medication book located in or near the medication storage cabinet. Outdated information will always again be retained and filed. Non-prescription medications will also be kept in this medication cabinet and will be monitored. The client's name should be clearly written on the container and are only administered by written order of the physician. Emergency medical information is maintained in the client's medication book. This will contain information such as the contact person, An authorization for treatment in the event of emergency should always come from the individual, family, guardian, and/or medical power of attorney designee. Staff will follow these procedures for ordering medications. If a staff member notices a client is running low on a particular medication, it is their responsibility to call the pharmacy and make sure it gets ordered. When placing a call to the pharmacy, have the empty cassette or box or container in front of you so you can appropriately order the new medication. Discontinuing a medication. A medication has to be discontinued by only a physician's order. On the client's original medication sheet, you need to use a yellow highlighter and mark out the entire column of the discontinued medication. In pen, write DC or D/C with the date and your initials on the yellow highlighted section of the medication sheet. Make a copy of the doctor's orders and then put this copy in the appropriate residential coordinator's mailbox. File the original doctor's orders for the discontinue of the medication in the progress notes section of the client's medication book. Let's look at the policy for checking in of medications. Medications will get picked up weekly from the pharmacy. Each house is to bring the client's meds with them to the HCBS staff meeting. The med runner will then take the empty cassettes out to the pharmacy and exchange them for the full cassettes. The med runner will check the meds in at Olive Street. If the med runner finds meds are missing, the med runner will write it down and will then call the pharmacy after all the medications are checked in. If meds need to be picked up from the pharmacy, the med runner will write it in the house accountability book what meds need to be picked up. The staff from that house will then go and pick up the med. The staff will also double check in the meds when they get to the house. Prior to the weekly HCBS meeting, the staff who worked the night prior will bring in all empty noon cassettes to the PC office. Let's talk about disposing of medications appropriately. Any medication needing to be destroyed is to be put in a sealed envelope and labeled with the client's name, medication name, the current date, and the date that the medication was not administered. So here's a sample of what you'd maybe want to put on a medication envelope. So you can see the date is written, the client's name, Joseph Smith, the medication, which is Clozaril 100 milligram tabs, 2.5 tabs at 4 p.m. was supposed to be given, and then the missed dose, which was Saturday, April 6, 2011. You will then document in the medication destruction log, which is found in the medication book, and take the envelope to the pharmacist. The pharmacist will dispose of the medication for you. All medication errors should be documented on the Injury Illness Critical Incident form and submitted to the appropriate staff as soon as discovered. You can see that form for more details. SDL Apartments Periodic Medication Monitoring. Medication is to be kept in a designated location in the client's home, and staff are made aware of the location. Clients will administer their own medications and will be periodically checked by the SCL Enrichment and Support Specialist. No medications are to be administered, discontinued, or withheld without CAS Incorporated having a written notification from the physician. If medications are ever to be administered by an enrichment and support specialist, the medication manager must document the date, time, route, and the medication that is being given to the client. The information is kept in the client's medication book located in or near the medication cabinet. Outdated information will be retained and filed as well. Non-prescription medication will be kept in the client's possession and will not be monitored. All medication errors should be documented on the Injury Illness Critical Incident form and submitted to the appropriate staff as soon as discovered. Okay, let's begin to look at an introduction to medication. Sometimes it seems like there are more medications out there than actual disease processes, and it can be quite hard to keep them straight. Some medications can be bought over the counter at pharmacies or other stores. Other medications require a doctor's prescription. A few medications are available only in hospitals. So what are medications? Medications are defined as chemicals or compounds used to cure, halt, or prevent disease, ease symptoms, or help in the diagnosis of certain illnesses. Advances in medications have enabled doctors to cure many diseases and save lives. So where do these medications come from? Where are they made from? These days, medications come from a variety of sources. Many were developed from substances found in nature, and even today, many are extracted from plants. For example, one medication that is used to treat certain cancers comes from the Pacific yew tree. Some medicines are produced in laboratory by mixing together a number of chemicals. Other medications, like penicillin, are simply byproducts of organisms such as a fungus. And a few medicines are even biologically engineered by inserting genes into bacteria that make them produce the desired substance. When we think about taking medications, we often just think of taking pills. But the truth is, there's many different types of medications, many different ways that the medications can be delivered, such as liquids. These are medications that are swallowed, like a cough syrup. You can administer medications in the way of drops. Drops can be put into the eyes, ears, or nose. There's also topical medications like creams, gels, or ointments that are rubbed into the skin. There's inhalers, like an asthma inhaler that's a pressurized container that's breathed into the respiratory tract. There's nasal sprays used to relieve nasal congestion and or deliver medications. There's transdermal patches which adhere to the skin and release a slow, gradual release of medication. There's tablets that are placed under the tongue, called sublingual medications. These medications are absorbed in the buccal cavity and then enter the bloodstream. There's also the way of injections to administer medications. Medication managers are never to administer any medications by the way of injection or intravenous, which is administering a medication into the vein. New medications are approved by the Food and Drug Administration. No medication can ever be sold unless it's first been approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, also referred to as the FDA. The manufacturers of this medication perform tests on all new medicines and then send these results to the FDA. The FDA allows new medicines to be used only if they work and if they are safe enough to give to the U.S. population. When a medicine's benefits outweigh its risks, the FDA usually approves the sale of the drug. The FDA can withdraw a medication from the market at any time if it is later found to cause harmful side effects. There are 4 steps for a pharmaceutical company to obtain approval to market and sell a particular drug. The first stage is the preclinical stage. This process takes about 1 to 2 years. The manufacturers are simply looking to see, is this medication safe to give to people? The second stage is the clinical stage. This stage can take at least 5 years. Now they've determined that the medication is safe to give, but now they're looking at, is this medication simply effective in treating what it's supposed to treat? The third is the new drug review. This can take 3 to 4 years, and at this time the manufacturers may or may not continue to make the medication. The fourth is post-marketing surveillance, and this is the ongoing continuous studying of medications to assess for their safety and effectiveness. Once a medication is approved by the FDA, for 17 years, that company has exclusive rights to sell the medication. After that time, other companies can start to make the medication and sell it in the generic form. Okay, this is where we can talk about laws and regulatory agencies. This information is also available in the PowerPoint. There's many different types of medications. Medications act in a variety of ways. Some medications cure an illness by killing or halting the spread of invading organisms or germs, such as bacteria or viruses. Others are used to treat cancer by killing cells as they divide or preventing them from multiplying. Some drugs simply replace missing substances or correct abnormally low levels of natural body chemicals, such as certain hormones or vitamins. Medicines can affect parts of the nervous system that control a particular body process. Nearly everyone has taken an antibiotic in their life. This type of medicine fights bacterial infections. Your doctor may prescribe an antibiotic for things like strep throat or an ear infection that's caused by a bacteria. Antibiotics work by either killing bacteria or halting their multiplication so that the body's immune system can fight off the infection. Sometimes a part of the body can't produce enough of a certain chemical. That also can make you sick. Someone with insulin-dependent diabetes, for instance, has a pancreas that cannot produce enough insulin. Insulin is a hormone that helps regulate blood sugar in the body, or glucose in the body. Some people have a low production of the thyroid hormone, which helps control how the body uses energy. In each of these cases, the doctor is able to prescribe a medication to replace this missing hormone. Some medications treat symptoms but can't cure the illness that causes the symptoms. A symptom is defined as anything you feel while you are sick, such as a cough or nausea. So taking a lozenge may soothe the sore throat, but it won't kill that nasty strep bacteria. Certain medications are designed to relieve pain. If you pull a muscle, your doctor might tell you to take ibuprofen or acetaminophen to help control the pain. These pain relievers are also known as analgesics. Don't get rid of the source of pain. Your muscle will still be pulled, but what they do is block the pathways that transmit the pain signals from the injured or irritated body part to the brain. In other words, these medications affect the way the brain reads the pain signal so that you don't hurt as much as your body recovers from the pulled muscle. As people get older, they also sometimes develop chronic or long-term conditions. Medications can also help control these certain conditions, such as high blood pressure, also called hypertension, or high cholesterol. These drugs don't provide a cure for the underlying problem, but they can help prevent some of the body-damaging effects of these long-term chronic conditions over time. Among the most important medicines are immunizations, or vaccinations. These keep people from getting sick in the first place by immunizing or protecting the body against certain infectious diseases. Vaccines usually contain actually a small amount of the agent that resembles a specific germ or germs that have been modified or killed. When someone is vaccinated, it primes the body's immune system to remember the germ so it will be able to fight off that infection in the future. Most immunizations that prevent you from catching diseases like measles, whooping cough, and chickenpox are given by the way of injection. No one thinks that getting injections or shots is a fun thing, but the diseases they can prevent can be very serious and cause symptoms that last much longer than the temporary discomfort of an injection or a shot. Although some medications require a prescription, some are available in stores. For example, many medications for pain, fever, cough, or allergies can be purchased without a prescription. But just because a medication is available over the counter, or OTC, that does not mean it's free of side effects. Taking over-the-counter medications, you need to use the same caution as using those prescribed by the doctor.